Now another topic, and this topic is also very much important. The reason is that the post-harvest management is totally depend on this topic, because without this topic we cannot go for good post-harvest management. So here today we will study about the storage methods, in which the first one is the zero energy cool chamber, then the cold storage, then the controlled atmosphere, modified atmosphere packaging, and the hyperbaric storage. Although these methods are the advanced methods, but we will also study about some of the traditional methods. So first of all, we should know that what is the storage, and when we keep or hold any of the fresh produce in condition under controlled condition, then it is the storage. And the need of storage is because all of you know that the fruits and vegetables both are perishable in nature, and they are very much nutritive in value. And another reason that with the help of this one we can reduce the post-harvest losses. And in previous slide I told you that there are 25 to 40% losses occur in the fruits and vegetables, and this is the 30,000 to 40,000 crores annually, which is about equal to the annual consumption of the UK, which I already told you in the previous class. So in this condition, it is very much essential that we should store our produce in a proper storage system. When we talk about the storage system, then we should keep in mind that what condition we have to maintain in the storage. And as per this one, first thing is that each fruit must be stored at its own temperature. Then the proper air circulation must be ensured. Third one, the commercial storage means the low temperature close to 0 degree and the relative humidity near about 85% is preferred for the storage system of the fruits and vegetables. Then the home refrigerator, all of you know that we have to keep our produce in the home. So in that condition, we have to cover the fruits in the ventilated covered containers. And if the fruits and vegetables, if any we are storing, and it is strong in the flavor and it contains the good aroma, then we have to store them in the tight containers. Otherwise, there may be chances of losses in the store. Now, what kind of store temperature required? And here you can see that for the different kind of fruit and vegetable, the different kind of temperature is required. In case of some of the crops, we can store them at 1 to 4 degree centigrade temperature. Some of the crops we can store at 5 to 9 degree centigrade temperature, and some of the crops we have to store near about 10 degree centigrade temperature. But during the storage, we have to take in care that particular crop should be stored at a particular temperature. If you are putting the banana in at low temperature, then there may be chances of the chilling injury. If you are putting mango at low temperature, then there are chances of the freezing injury. So we have to keep in mind that which kind of fruit require what temperature, and at that temperature we have to keep our fruit and vegetables in the store. Here, when we are talking about the storage systems, then we should also know that what are the important goals of the storage. And the important goals, first thing is the reduction in the transpiration, because the most of the losses which is occur, and when we talk about the post-harvest management, that what is the proper post-harvest management, then in that condition I told you that we should have keep in mind that any of the technique which we are applying or which we are using, in that technique we have to reduce the PLW losses. And if we are able to reduce the PLW losses, then we can keep our produce for longer duration. So first of all, we have to reduce the transpiration losses so that there is not loss in the sellable weight of the fruit and vegetable. Second is the reduction in the respiration. And when we keep our produce at low temperature, naturally we will be able to reduce the respiration, and along with the respiration there are so many physiological processes are connected, due to which we can keep our produce safely for the longer duration. Then reduction in the ripening rate. If we are able to reduce the respiration, if we are able to reduce the transpiration, then we can also evacuate the ethylene formation. And if we are evacuating in any system the ethylene formulation, then we can also reduce the ripening rate. And when we are delaying the ripening, at the same time we are also able to maintain or able to reduce the cyanation of the fruits and vegetables. And the last goal is the reduction in the microorganism population, because the microbial population is very much important to manage them. If the temperature is low, the population as well as the growth as well as the activity of these microbes will be slow. And if the activity and the growth of the microbes will be slow, then we can keep our produce for the in better condition. So you can see here the photographs that such type of things we can use. For the reduction in transpiration, we can use the zero energy cool chamber. For reduction in the respiration, we can use the MAP packaging. And for reduction in the ripening rate, we can use the controlled atmosphere storage system. For reduction in the microbial population, we can go for the pre-cooling as well as the refrigerated transportation of the fruits and vegetables. But for the storage life, what factors are responsible and which factors are affect the storage life, we have to also take in care. And the first one is the decay in the storage. And I told you that the microbes, especially the fungus, molds and yeast, are responsible for the decay in the storage, and such kind of things may occur if there is any infection of any of the organism. That may be the mold, that may be the yeast, and that may be the bacteria, because different organism causes the different type of problems or different type of disease in the storage. The another thing is the temperature and relative humidity. If the temperature is high, if the relative humidity is low, both are not congenial for storing the fruits and vegetables for longer duration. So the temperature during storage should be low, means it should be in between 0 to 10 degrees centigrade temperature. And if the temperature is too much low, means below 0 degree centigrade, in that condition it is also maybe detrimental for some of the crops, not for all, but for some of the crops, especially for the mango and banana, which may cause the chilling and freezing injury. Then the temperature, if high, relative humidity is low, in that condition there may be the enzymatic browning, there may be the non-enzymatic browning, there may be the rancidity, there may be the putrefaction, there may be change in the nutritive value. These things may occur due to the high temperature and low relative humidity. So during the storage and during any of the application of any of the method, we have to keep the temperature low and humidity high. The another is the ethylene concentration. If there is more of the respiration, if the temperature is high, there will be the more of the respiration, and in that condition there will be the more of the ethylene generation. And if ethylene generation is the fast, it will induce speedy ripening, and in that condition not only it induce the ripening, but it also cause the cyanation, means the losses in the produced by the decaying. Then the another is the freezing and chilling injury due to temperature, especially due to the low temperature. And I told you that there is a specific temperature for the particular crop. So we have to keep in mind that for the crop, what kind of temperature it require, we have to keep that particular commodity at that temperature. Otherwise, there may be chances of such type of chilling and freezing injury. Next one is the physical injury. Physical injury is also a problem for the storage life of a produce. If we are harvesting our produce with the defaulty practices of the harvesting tools or the machines, then there may be chances of the more of the physical injury That physical injury may be the machines, tools, that physical injury may be the insect, pest and the animals. So we have to keep in mind that such type of physical injury we have to avoid, so that we can keep our produce for longer duration. Now the question is, what is the relation between the respiration rate and the shelf life? And here in this diagram you can see that if the respiration rate is high, then the storage life will be short. If the respiration rate is low, then the storage life will be more. So here you can see that in case of potato, the storage life is more, celery, the storage life is more, but in case of the mushroom, the respiration rate is high, so the shelf life is low. In banana also there is more respiration rate, so the shelf life is also less. Now in this table you can also see the perishability rate, that if any of the crop, the perishability index of any crop is very high, then we can only store them up to the 2 weeks. And these are the crops, that broccoli, cauliflower, blackberry and strawberry. Then we can keep only for 2 weeks. But some of the crops in which the perishability index is very low, that crop we can store up to the 16 weeks, especially the nuts and the dried fruits. In some of the fruits, if the perishability index is low, then we can store up to 8 to 16 weeks. And in this condition, the onion, apple and garlic, pear we can for that period. Now the another thing is which kind of factors we should consider during the storage of our produce. And the first thing is the knowledge of the appropriate storage condition. What do you mean by knowledge of appropriate storage condition? Means we should know that which commodity should be stored at which temperature. As I told you that we have to keep the banana and mango at more than 10 degrees centigrade and less than 13 degrees centigrade temperature. But some of the crops like the apple, we can also keep them at 0 to 4 degrees centigrade temperature. So such type of condition we have to know that which type of fruit and vegetable we can keep at which temperature. The another thing is the cultivar or variety which is suitable for the storage. In this condition you can say that for garlic and onion there is no need to keep them in the refrigeration. We can keep them in proper ventilation condition, and at that ventilation condition we can easily manage their good storage system. But for the different kind of crops we should know that which kind of storage system is suitable. Then the availability of the appropriate storage facility. If we doesn't have any kind of appropriate storage facility, suppose at our field we doesn't have the zero energy cool chamber, at our field if we doesn't have any kind of the storage method, then it is very much difficult to store our produce. And last one is the availability of the suitable management. If our management is not good, suppose if we are harvesting our crop and just after harvesting we are putting the crop in the any of the storage condition, then we cannot keep them for longer duration. So first of all we have to harvest the crop, then we have to go for the means the heat removal of the particular crop or by the curing of that particular crop. If we are not applying the heat removal system, if we are not applying the curing system, then we cannot keep our produce for longer duration. So after the following such type of management practices, we should go for the storage. Now if the storage system is not proper and the storage system is not good, then what kind of losses may occur? The first one is the loss of moisture. That is due to the transpiration, that is due to the more of the respiration. So in this condition, if there is more loss of the moisture, then there will be less soluble weight. So we have to reduce the physiological loss in weight, and that can only be managed at the low temperature. If we are applying any of the storage system in which the temperature is low, then there will be the less loss in the moisture. Then the loss of stored energy. If there is more of respiration, then it will again lose more of the stored energy. So we have to keep our produce at low temperature so that we can manage the respiration rate, because at low temperature the respiration rate will be slow, and at that condition the loss of stored energy will be also slow. The loss of other foods, especially the vitamin C content. Vitamin C content is very much affected by the high temperature. If we are putting our commodity at high temperature, then there is more chances of loss in the vitamin C content. And vitamin C content is a good thing in case of fruits and vegetables, because with the help of vitamin C content we can able to manage our so many problems in the body. Then the physical losses through pest and disease attack. This is again here, if you are putting our produce at low temperature, then the activity of the such type of insect and pest will be also slow, especially the microbial population, because at low temperature the microbes, although there is chances that the microbes may be developed, but the activity will be slow. So if the activity is slow, then we can also reduce the losses in the storage. Then loss in quality from the physiological disorders. I will tell you that what kind of physiological disorders may occur due to the such defaulty storage practices. Then the fiberness. If we are not harvesting the crop at appropriate time, and if we are using, suppose we are using the in situ storage system, in that condition there may be chances of the development of the fiberness in some of the crops, especially in the asparagus, okra and some of the beans. Similarly, greening, it is also a problem in case of the potato, and not only it reduces the consumer preference, but it also toxic to the human. So we have to avoid such type of problems in potato, and that can only be avoided by putting the potato in the dark condition. Then the rooting, this is also due to the high humidity, and it can also be we can manage with the proper humid condition in the crop during the production of the crop. Sprouting and toughening are the other factors. Now this is the thing that what kind of storage system we have to apply. So here the storage systems again categorized into two categories. One is the traditional method and second is the advanced methods. And these methods again we can categorize the low cost techniques and the high cost techniques. So the traditional systems are low cost techniques and the advanced systems are high cost techniques. So with the help of these storage systems we can easily manage our produce. First thing is the in situ storage. What is the in situ storage? In situ storage means we have to delay the harvest of the crop, or in other words, we have to harvest the crop as per demand of the crop in the market. Especially in case of the bulb crops, in case of the tuber crops, in case of the root crops, we can easily follow such type of storage system. What is the demand in market? At per demand we have to harvest the quantity of the crop. Suppose there is only 2 quintal demand of the root crop or the carrot, then we can go for the harvesting of the 2 quintal of the carrot. Rest of the crop we will left in the field. And with the help of this one we can easily store our crop for 2 to 3 months. But there are so many disadvantages of this system. First thing, up to the complete harvesting of the crop we cannot utilize that particular land for the another crop. So this is the one disadvantage. Second disadvantage, if there is the cooler climate, in that condition, suppose there is the frost attack at that time, in that condition there may be chances of the freezing and chilling injury. And if we are putting the such type of produce for the longer duration, then there may be chances of the development of the undesirable fibers as well as the starch. Suppose if we are putting the carrot and radish for the longer duration, then there may be chances of development of the pithiness in that particular crops. So such type of things we can just avoid by harvesting at appropriate time. And last one is the chances of damage due to the insect pest, because when we are leaving our crop in the field, then there are more chances of the damage by the insect pest and disease. The another kind of storage system is the pit or trench storage. In this one, we have to dig a pit or the trench at the edge of the field, but we should take in care that such type of trench or the pit we have to dig at the high elevation, otherwise there may be chances of the waterlogging. So this condition is very much important, that we have to prepare such type of structures at highest point. And another thing, that such pits or the trench we should line with the straw or any of the organic material. Another thing, that when we are filling our produce in such pits or trench, then there may be chances of the more of the heat due to the respiration activity. So we have to keep some of the holes in between these straw or the produce, so that we can properly provide them ventilation. This method is especially used for the ginger, turmeric and potato. But here again you can see there are two disadvantages of this particular system. That one, if any crop is demanding the high humidity, then it is not possible to store in this system. The another thing, if we are storing our commodity in such type of system, then we cannot examine that what kind of rotting already occur in the fruits or vegetable in that particular store. क्योंकि जब तक अपन उस कमोडिटी को उस ट्रेंच या पिट से बाहर नहीं निकालेंगे, तब तक अपन उसका पता नहीं लगा. मान लो सपोज करो 1 or 2 fruits decay in the bottom of that particular pit or trench, then we cannot judge that any kind of store occur in the bottom of the particular store system. Now the another is the cellar or underground store, and you can see here that we have to construct such type of store beneath a house. Means the underground store is generally used. Such type of storage system we can use. Suppose this is a room, and below this room we can also prepare a house under this room. So such type of stores are known as the cellar stores, and this is especially used for the hardy crops, means the apple, cabbage, onion and potato, especially during winter season, because in the cellars we will be able to keep the temperature in between 10 to 15 degrees centigrade range. But if the temperature is more than 15 degrees centigrade, then there may be chances of the decay loss in the fruits or vegetables. Another is the clamp storage. Clamp storage, in generally we have to prepare with the special things, that first of all we have to keep the gravel sand, then we have to keep a layer of straw, then we have to keep the produce, and in between the produce we have to also induce some of the hollow pipes, so that we can provide proper ventilation to the crop in the mid of this crop. And with the help of these clamps we can store our produce up to the 6 months. But here again we have to take in care that such type of structure we have to prepare in the shady condition or at higher elevation. If we are preparing this type of structure in the open condition and at lower elevation, then instead of the storing our produce for longer duration, we can lose our produce in the short period of time. Barns. Here two things we can use. One is the barn and second is the shed. If the structures are the large enough, then it is known as the barns, and if the structures are small enough, then it is known as the sheds. So such type of barns and sheds we can use for storing of the different kind of produce. Especially you can see here that the onion and garlic we can store in such type of systems, because this system is especially provide proper ventilation to our crop, and these crops especially require the proper ventilation during their storage. So with the help of such type of barns we can easily store our produce for longer duration. But here is only one problem, that during the rainy season there is more humidity in the environment, and in that condition there is chances of the more humid condition in the produce, and at that condition we cannot store our produce for longer duration. So except the rainy season we can easily store our produce for longer duration in such type of structures. High altitude cooling. And high altitude cooling is actually a natural method of storage. Means at height, if we are putting our produce in the hills or at mountains, then we can easily store them for longer duration. The reason is that at 1 kilometer increase in altitude we can decrease 10 degrees centigrade temperature. So at 1 kilometer of height the temperature will be 10 degrees centigrade low. So with the help of such type of things we can easily store our produce at higher elevation. Evaporative cooling. Evaporative cooling just work just like our cooler. In cooler you can see that there is one exhaust fan, and on the windows there is certain kind of pads we will apply, and these pads are wet enough, and when the exhaust fan suck the air, then that air will be cool enough. So with the help of this one we can also use such type of pads. This pad can be used in one of the window, and here we can put some of the exhaust fan, and this exhaust fan will be able to cool the whole of the chamber or room. And the another system is the zero energy cool chamber. Zero energy cool chamber is actually, it was developed at PUSA, means at IRI. So it is also known as PUSA zero energy cool chamber, and it is the low cost eco-friendly storage system. The another thing that this system we can apply at on farm as a on farm storage chamber, because it doesn't require any kind of energy, any kind of electricity or any kind of extra machines for storing the produce. The spoilage of the produce we can also control due to the low temperature, and in general we will be able to reduce 10 to 15 degrees centigrade temperature than the normal or the open condition, and the humidity always remains 90%. So in that condition we can easily store our produce in better condition. This is a method that how we can prepare the zero energy cool chamber. And first of all we have to put some of the bricks, especially the raw bricks we can put on the ground on the bottom of this structure. Then we can prepare this structure with the help of the bricks, and after that we can prepare such type of chamber. In this chamber it is the double wall chamber. One wall is this one and second wall is this one, and between these two walls there is a gap, and in this gap we have to fill the gravel sand, means the bajri we have to put in this gap. And after that we will put certain structures like this one, the water tanks, and this water tank is used for the wetting of this gravel sand. And with the help of wetting of gravel sand we can easily reduce the temperature in our zero energy cool chamber without application of any kind of electricity or any kind of any device. So this one is the zero energy cool chamber. With the help of this one we can keep our produce for longer duration. What principle is in general used for the storing of this particular crop in this system? The main principle is the direct evaporative cooling. Means how we are able to cool our water in the we can say the clay pots. आपने देखा होगा मटके के अंदर पानी ठंडा रहता है गर्मियों में, but in the steel and the other metallic pots it is not as cool as in the clay pots. So what the system apply on the clay pot is also applied here, because we are able to providing here the more of the humid condition to the chamber, and as soon as this humid condition or the humidity is evaporate, then there will be the cool surface inside the chamber, and then we can easily reduce the temperature of the particular this condition. Now what is the comparison, that how long we can store our produce in such type of chambers, or how these chambers are effective? So here you can see that if we are storing the leafy vegetable in summer season, then on the outside we can only store them up to the 12 or to 15 or 24 hours. But in case of this cool chamber we can able to store them for the 3 days. Similarly, in the winters we can store outside the leafy vegetable for 3 days, but in this chamber we can store them at to 10 days. So here you can see that the orange outside we can store up to 10 days, but in this chamber we can store them up to the 2 months, means 50 to 60 days. So you can see here the utility of this type of chambers. And here I again showing you that how much weight loss you can reduce in this type of chamber. If we are putting our mango in the month of June, July, then in cool chamber we can store them for 9 days, and the weight loss will be only 5.04%. But when we are storing them at room temperature, then we can able only to store them for 6 days, and that loss will be more than 14%. So this is the difference, that we can easily not only we are providing the better storage condition, but we are also reducing the weight loss in the such type of crops with the help of this storage system. Now what are the advantage of this system? First thing, better marketability. Why the better marketability? Because we are able to keep our produce for better condition. You can see here the clear cut difference, that after 60 to 80 days if we are putting our produce outside, then this will be the condition of the produce, but in cool and zero energy cool chamber it will be in this condition. Similarly, you can also see the difference at ambient temperature. This will be the condition of the tomato, but in Pusa energy cool chamber the condition of the tomato will be more better. Similarly, you can also see here the comparison between 3 systems, means refrigeration in the fridge, in the cool chamber, and at the room temperature. So at the room temperature the crop is losing its not only its color but also losing the weight loss. But in case of the cool chamber and refrigeration store, the commodity is always remains in better condition. So without application of the any kind of technique or any kind of the machine or any kind of the energy, we can easily store in the safe condition our produce. So this is the first thing. The another thing, retain nutritive quality. Then eco-friendly, because there is no energy required, no electricity required, no any kind of pollution is there due to this system, and can be constructed by unskilled person. There is no need for the skilled person. Any of the person, a layman can also prepare such type of store system. No mechanical or electrical energy is required. Avoid costly rush, ideal for household storage. Household storage means we can easily prepare this system at our farm also. Then it reduces the losses, we can get the more payment from the short time, and it is useful for the temporary storage of the curd, milk and cooked food also in our house. We can also use this system for the mushroom as well as for the storage of the biofertilizer. Why is the need of the storage of biofertilizer? Because in biofertilizer there are organisms, and that bacteria we have to also keep at low temperature. If we are putting at high temperature the biofertilizer, then they will be not much more effective, because biofertilizers, the organism of the biofertilizer will be damaged at high temperature. Now, what kind of precautions we have to take in care during the preparation of this one? First thing, that it should be place where the breeze blow. जहाँ बहुत अच्छी हवा चल रही हो, बहुत अच्छी ठंडी हवा चल रही हो, उस जगह पे अगर अपन ओपन कंडीशन में अगर इस सिस्टम को रखेंगे तो ज़्यादा इफ़ेक्टिव होगा. क्यों? क्योंकि उसमें जब ठंडी हवा उससे टकराएगी तो जो इवोपरेशन वगैरह होगा वो उसमें ज़्यादा होगा, और इवोपरेशन ज़्यादा होने की वजह से उसके अंदर की साइड का जो कूल चैम्बर है उसका टेम्परेचर ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लो होगा. सो दिस वन इज़ द इम्पोर्टेंट थिंग, दैट द साइड शुड बी at the condition where the breeze is blow. The another thing is it should be prepared at elevated site to avoid the waterlogging condition, and we have to use the clean unbroken bricks for the good porosity. And another thing that we have to keep the sand saturated time to time. If the sand is not properly saturated, then the temperature will be not good. And another thing, the water drops we have to also avoid to come in contact with the stored material. If any of the drop coming in contact with the stored material, then there may be chances of the decay in that particular produce. So this is also and another thing, that we have to keep the clean such type of chamber, or we have to disinfect these type of chambers time to time. So these are some of the photographs, and easily you can see the difference. Here you can see that this is the control, this is the commercial practice, and this is the ethereal. It is at room temperature. Same condition we provided at cold storage, means the cool chamber, our zero energy cool chamber, and in this condition you can see that in comparison to this one, this is the better quality, and it is just at par to the cold storage facility. Means if we are applying any of the machines or any of the controlled condition, then we can only store the produce just more or less similar to the cool chamber. Now the advanced storage systems, and in advanced storage systems again the low temperature technique is the good one. थोड़ी देर रोक लेते, 1 सेकंड के लिए होल्ड करें.